The gathering storm. The galaxy trembles as the Void Hunters emerge from dark space. These ancient predators have consumed entire star systems, leaving nothing but empty void behind. The Galactic Council calls for an emergency meeting on station. Prime. Ambassador Kren of the bird-like Talon Empire addresses the packed chamber. His feathers ruffle with fear as he shows holographic images of dead worlds. 17 systems have fallen in just 2 months, he announces. The Void Hunters are heading toward the core worlds. Admiral Voss of the Crystalline Shard Collective stands next. Her body glows with inner light as she speaks. Our combined fleets number over 50,000 ships. We must strike now before they grow stronger. General Thane of the Insectoid Hive. Nations clicks his mandibles in agreement. The Hive offers 20,000 vessels. We have faced extinction before. We will not run. One by one, each species pledges their forces. The proud Talon Empire promises 15,000 warships. The Buck, Ancient Shard Collective offers 12,000 crystalline destroyers. The United Hive Nations brings 20,000 bioships. Smaller races add their forces until the total reaches nearly 60,000 vessels. But when they reach the human section, only silence follows. Captain Stone, the lone human representative, stands slowly. He is unremarkable compared to the aliens. Around him, no claws, no armor, no glowing crystals, just a middle-aged man in a simple uniform. Earth will send what it can, he says quietly. The chamber erupts in whispers. Everyone knows humans are newcomers to galactic society. They have been spacefaring for less than 2 centuries. Most species assume they have maybe a few hundred ships at best. Ambassador Kren looks sympathetic. Captain Stone, we understand. Your people are still developing. Even a small contribution would be valued. Captain Stone nods. We will send 12 ships to join the fleet. 12 ships. Out of 60,000. The aliens try to hide their disappointment. Some feel pity for the humans who cannot contribute more. Others wonder why Earth was even invited to the meeting. Admiral Voss speaks gently. 12 ships will be welcomed. Every vessel counts in this fight. The meeting ends with battle plans being made. The massive alien fleet will gather at Nexus Point, a strategic location near the edge of Void Hunter territory. From there, they will launch their attack. Captain Stone leaves without saying another word. The aliens watch him go, already forgetting about humanity's tiny contribution. But they do not see the small smile on his face. 3 days later, the greatest fleet in galactic history assembles at Nexus Point. 60,000 ships of every shape and size fill the space around the ancient space station. Sleek Talon fighters dance alongside massive Hive biocruisers. Shard Collective crystal ships pulse with energy next to smaller vessels from dozens of minor races. It is a sight that would normally inspire awe and confidence. But something is wrong. Long-range sensors detect the Void Hunters approaching faster than expected. Instead of the few hundred ships the Council predicted, thousands of dark vessels emerge from jump space. Their hulls seem to absorb light itself, making them hard to target. Admiral Voss calls an emergency meeting aboard her flagship. The holographic display shows the approaching enemy fleet in all its terrible glory. Intelligence was wrong, she admits, her crystalline body flickering with stress. We count at least 15,000 Void Hunter ships. They outnumber us 4 to 1. General Thane's mandibles click nervously. Our bioships are strong, but even the Hive cannot survive those odds. Ambassador Kren's feathers droop. Perhaps we should retreat, live to fight another day. The debate grows heated. Some want to attack anyway. Others call for withdrawal. Fear spreads through the fleet as word of the enemy numbers leaks out. Captain Stone sits quietly in the corner of the holographic meeting. His 12 ships float. Nearby, small, unremarkable vessels that barely register on the tactical display. What do you think, Captain? Admiral Voss asks, more out of politeness than any real interest in his opinion. Stone checks his wrist display. A small green light blinks steadily. I think, he says slowly, that help is on the way. The aliens look confused. What help could possibly arrive in time? The human fleet was already here, all 12 ships of it, but Captain Stone just smiles and looks out at the stars. Somewhere in the darkness between galaxies, ancient systems are awakening. Engines that have slept for decades begin to hum with power. Weapons that once turned the tide of impossible wars start to charge. The real human fleet is coming, and the galaxy is about to learn why Earth kept its true strength hidden. The Awakening. Battle begins at dawn, ship time. 15,000 Void Hunter vessels descend on the Allied fleet like a plague of metal locusts. Their dark hulls seem to drink in the light of nearby stars as they open fire with weapons that tear holes in space. Itself, Admiral Voss orders the attack from her crystal flagship. All ships, engage! Fight for your worlds! The greatest fleet in known history surges forward. Talon fighters streak through space in perfect formations. Hive bioships pulse with organic energy as they fire living weapons. Shard collective vessels unleash beams of pure crystal fire. For a moment, it looks like courage might overcome the odds. Then the Void Hunters reveal their true power. The first Allied ship to die is a Talon cruiser. A Void Hunter destroyer fires a single black beam that simply erases the cruiser from existence. Not destroyed, erased. As if it never existed at all. More black beams lance out. Each one removes another ship from reality. The Allied fleet begins to panic as vessels vanish without even leaving debris behind. Impossible, whispers General Thane as he watches the entire squadron of his bioships disappear. What kind of weapons are these? Captain Stone watches from his small command ship. Around him, his 11 other vessels hold position away from the main battle. They look tiny and helpless compared to the massive warships dying around them. Sir, his communications officer says nervously, "Shouldn't we be helping?" Stone checks his wrist display again. The green light blinks faster now. "Not yet," he says calmly. "Wait for the signal." The battle turns into a massacre. The Void Hunters press their advantage, their reality-erasing weapons cutting through the Allied fleet like paper. Ships that took decades to build vanish in seconds. Ambassador Kren sends a desperate message from his flagship. All ships retreat. This is hopeless. But the Void Hunters have surrounded them. There is nowhere to run. Admiral Voss makes one last stand, pushing her crystal ship directly at the enemy command vessel. Her entire hull glows like a star as she prepares to ram the enemy. The Void Hunter flagship fires. Voss and her ship cease to exist. That's when everything changes. The space around Captain Stone's small fleet begins to ripple like water. Reality itself seems to bend and twist as something massive pushes through from another dimension. The first ship to emerge is the size of a moon. It is sleek and gray, covered in armor plating that has seen 1,000 wars. Weapon ports line its hull like the scales of some ancient dragon. As it fully enters normal space, the gravitational pull from its mass alone causes nearby asteroids to change course. Behind it comes another ship, then another, and another. The Allied fleet watches in stunned silence as the true human war fleet awakens from its long sleep in folded space. Ship after ship materializes, each one larger and more terrifying than the last. Battleships the size of cities, carriers that could house entire populations, destroyers bristling with weapons that make the Void Hunter reality erasers look like toys, and still they keep coming. "Dear gods," whispers General Thane, "how many ships do the humans have?" Captain Stone finally smiles. Enough. The lead human dreadnought, a vessel so massive it has its own weather systems, powers up its main guns. Energy readings go off. The scale as weapons that have slept for 50 years come online. The Void Hunter fleet, which moments ago was unstoppable, suddenly looks very small. Admiral Beck's voice echoes across all frequencies from the human flagship. She is an old woman with steel-gray hair and eyes like winter storms. "This is Admiral Beck of the Terra Defense Fleet," she announces. "You have attacked our allies. That was a mistake." The Void Hunters fire their reality erasers at the approaching human ships. The black beams strike the lead dreadnought's shields and simply stop. They don't penetrate. They don't even seem to notice. Interesting, Admiral Beck says. Our turn. The human fleet opens fire. What happens next can only be described as the wrath of sleeping giants awakened. Weapons that were designed to crack planets unleash their fury on the Void Hunter fleet. Reality doesn't just bend, it screams. In less than 5 minutes, the unstoppable Void Hunter armada is reduced to scrap metal and free-floating atoms. The Allied survivors float in shocked silence, staring at the human war fleet that has just saved them all. Captain Stone activates his communications array. Fleet Admiral Beck, he says formally. Thank you for responding to our call. Our pleasure, Captain, comes the reply. It's been too quiet lately anyway. The revelation. In the aftermath of the battle, the Allied survivors gather aboard Station Prime. The meeting hall that once held 60,000 representatives now feels empty with less than 20,000 ships remaining. But those ships are joined by something unprecedented, the human Terra Defense Fleet in all its terrible glory. Admiral Beck enters the chamber like a force of nature. She is older than most aliens expected, with silver hair and scars that speak of battles fought in the dark between stars. Behind her walk a dozen human officers, each one carrying themselves with the quiet confidence of veterans. The alien representatives stare in stunned silence. These are the same humans they pitied just days ago. The species they thought barely had a few hundred ships. Admiral Voss, somehow alive after her ship's destruction, her crystalline body reformed in an emergency pod, speaks first. Admiral Beck, she says carefully, we owe you our lives, but we must ask, where did this fleet come from? Beck takes her seat at the head of the council table. Around her, holographic displays show the massive human warships holding position around the station. Each vessel dwarfs the largest alien ships like whales among minnows. The Terra Defense Fleet has been in deep space for 50 years. Beck explains simply. Sleeping, waiting. Ambassador Kren's feathers ruffle with confusion. Waiting for what? For a threat large enough to wake us up. General Thane clicks his mandibles nervously. But why hide your strength? We could have worked together. Shared. Technology. Built a better galaxy. Admiral Beck's expression grows cold. Because the last time we revealed our true capabilities, it didn't go well. The chamber falls silent. The weight of untold history hangs in the air. Captain Stone stands up from his position among the human delegation. Tell them about the Silence Wars, Admiral. Beck nods slowly. 80 years ago, humanity made first contact with the Galactic Council. We were eager to join, to share our knowledge and learn from others. We showed them our technology, our military capabilities, our industrial capacity. She pauses, her eyes growing distant. Within a year, every major species had declared, war on us. The alien representatives shift uncomfortably. This is not a history they learned in their schools. They called it the Silence Wars, Beck continues, because the goal was to silence humanity forever. 37 species united against us. They were terrified of what we might become. Admiral Voss's crystalline body flickers with shame. The Shard Collective. We were part of that alliance. You all were, Stone says quietly. Every species in this room except humanity. The truth hangs like a poison cloud in the chamber. The assembled aliens, these proud ancient civilizations, had once tried to genocide the human race. We fought for 5 years, Beck says. Ship to ship, world to world. You had numbers. We had desperation. In the end, we won. Barely. General, Thane speaks hesitantly. The records say humanity sued for peace, that we graciously accepted your surrender. Beck laughs, but there's no humor in it. Is that what your history books say? We didn't surrender, General. You did. All of you. When we brought the war to your home systems, when your civilians started dying the way ours had, suddenly everyone wanted peace. The chamber is dead quiet now. The reality of their situation is becoming clear. After the war, we made a deal, Beck continues. Humanity would limit itself to 12 active ships in galactic space. We would appear weak, helpless. In exchange, You would leave us alone. But you never disarmed, Ambassador Kren realizes. Never, Stone confirms. We built, we prepared, we waited. The Terra Defense Fleet has been growing stronger for 80 years, hidden in the spaces between stars. Admiral Voss processes this information. You've been watching us, all this time. Every war, every crisis, every threat to galactic peace. Beck nods. We watched and waited. If you could handle it yourselves, we stayed hidden. But the Void Hunters, she shakes her head. They were beyond any single species to stop. General Thane's mandibles click rapidly, a sign of extreme agitation in his species. So you saved us. Why? After what we did to you. Beck stands up, her presence filling the room. Because despite everything, we're still part of this galaxy. These are still our neighbors, our allies, whether you like it or not. She looks around the chamber at each species representative. But make no mistake, we remember the Silence Wars. We remember every ship you destroyed, every colony you burned, every human child who died because you were afraid of us. The threat hangs unspoken in the air. The human fleet surrounding the station could erase every remaining alien ship without breaking a sweat. So what happens now? Admiral Voss asks quietly. Beck smiles, but it doesn't reach her eyes. Now we renegotiate our arrangement, as equals this time. The new order, the negotiations last for 3 days. The human fleet maintains position around Station Prime while representatives from every surviving species debate the future of galactic civilization. The mood is tense, fearful, and desperate. Admiral Beck sits at the head of the council table, patient as stone. She has fought wars that lasted decades. She can wait for politicians to make up their minds. Your terms are unreasonable. Protests. Ambassador Kren, his feathers bristled with indignation. You want access to all military installations, unlimited movement through our space, and the right to veto council decisions? No, Beck replies calmly. We want what we should have had 80 years ago, equal partnership. General Thane clicks his mandibles anxiously. But your fleet, it's larger than all of ours combined. How is that equal? Captain Stone activates a holographic display showing fleet compositions. The numbers make the alien representatives pale. Terra Defense Fleet currently maintains 47,000 active warships, he states matter-of-factly. Another 100,000 in reserve status. Our industrial capacity produces roughly 12 new ships per day. The silence that follows is deafening. Admiral Voss's crystalline body flickers with shock. That's more ships than the rest of the galaxy combined has ever built. We've had 80 years to prepare, Beck says simply. We used that time well. She stands and walks to the chamber's main viewport, gazing out at her fleet. Each ship represents decades of human ingenuity, determination, and the bitter memory of near extinction. You want to know what equality looks like? She asks the assembled aliens. It looks like humanity having a voice proportional to our strength. It looks like never again being ganged up on by species who fear our potential. Ambassador Kren shifts nervously. And if we refuse your terms? Beck turns back to face them. Her expression is pleasant, almost grandmotherly. But her eyes are winter. Storms. Then we go back to our previous arrangement. 12 ships in galactic space, the rest of the fleet returns to deep space hibernation. She pauses. Of course, the next time a threat like the Void Hunters appears, you'll face it alone. The threat is subtle but unmistakable. Save for the brief intervention against the Void Hunters, humanity has honored their agreement for 80 years. They could easily do so again, and let the next galactic crisis burn the alien civilizations to ash. General Thane speaks carefully. What assurance do we have that humanity won't abuse this power? Your fleet could conquer the entire galaxy. Could we? Beck asks rhetorically. Yes, probably. Will we? That depends on you. She returns to her seat, leaning forward with the intensity of a predator. 80 years ago, you attacked us because you were afraid we might become a threat. Your fear created the very thing you were trying to prevent. We became stronger because we had to. We became isolated because you forced us to be. Captain Stone adds quietly, the Terra Defense Fleet exists for one purpose, to ensure humanity's survival. If we're treated as partners, as equals, we have no interest in conquest. But if we're threatened again, he doesn't need to finish the sentence. Admiral Voss processes this for a long moment. You're offering us a choice. Accept you as equals, or face the next crisis alone. That's right, Beck confirms. And before you decide, let me show you something. The, holographic display changes to show long-range sensor data. Deep in unexplored space, massive energy signatures are moving. Lots of them. The Void Hunters we just defeated? They were scouts. Our intelligence suggests the main force is at least 10 times larger. They'll be here within the year. The alien representatives stare at the data in horror. 150,000 Void Hunter ships, each capable of erasing matter from existence. Your combined fleets at full strength numbered 60,000 ships, Stone notes. After the recent battle, maybe 20,000 remain. Even if you could rebuild immediately, you'd still be outnumbered 7-1. But together, to me, the Terra Defense Fleet and your combined forces would actually outnumber them. We could win. The choice is clear. Accept humanity as an equal partner, or face extinction when the real Void Hunter invasion arrives. Ambassador Kren is the first to speak. The Talon Empire accepts the new partnership terms. One by one, the other species follow suit. They have no choice, and everyone knows it. Admiral Beck nods with satisfaction. Excellent. Fleet Admiral Stone will serve as humanity's permanent representative to the Council. Captain Martinez will coordinate our joint military operations. As the meeting ends, the alien representatives file out with heavy hearts. The balance of power in the galaxy has shifted permanently, but deep down, many of them feel something unexpected. Relief. For the first time in 80 years, they're not alone against the darkness. The true war begins. 6 months later, the galaxy prepares for its final battle. The combined fleets of every known species gather at Fortress Point, a massive military installation built in record time using both alien technology and human industrial might. The station itself is a marvel. Crystalline shard construction reinforced with human armor plating, powered by Hive bioreactors and defended by Talon fighter wings, but it pales in comparison to the fleet surrounding it. Admiral Beck stands on the bridge of her flagship, the Remembrance, a dreadnought so massive it requires its own life support ecosystem. Around her, displays show the greatest armada ever assembled. 47,000 human warships float in perfect formation, their gray hulls gleaming with weapons that could crack moons. Beside them, 25,000 alien vessels of every shape and size represent the combined might of dozens of species. "Ma'am," reports Commander Hayes, her tactical officer, "long-range sensors are picking up the Void Hunter main fleet. They'll be in weapons range in 6 hours. Beck nods calmly. At 73 years old, she has fought more battles than most species have recorded in their entire histories. This is just another day at the office. Signal all ships, battle stations, and patch me through to the Council fleet." The holographic display activates, showing Admiral Voss aboard her new Crystal flagship, General Thane on his bioship command vessel, and Ambassador Kren coordinating from his carrier. 6 months of joint operations have turned former enemies into trusted allies. "Gentlemen, lady," Beck addresses them, "it's been an honor serving alongside you these past months." "The honor has been ours," Voss replies, her crystalline body glowing with determination. "Our peoples may have started as enemies, but we'll end this as friends." Through the viewports, space begins to darken as the Void Hunter fleet approaches. 150,000 ships that drink light itself, armed with weapons that erase matter from existence. They move like a black tide across the stars. But for the first time in galactic history, they face united opposition. "All ships," Beck announces across all frequencies, "this is it. Today we decide whether civilization survives or dies, whether our children inherit the stars or inherit nothing at all. She pauses, looking out at the massive fleet under her command. 80. Years ago, we were enemies. Fear and mistrust drove us apart, but today we stand together. Human Shard, Talon, Hive. We are one fleet, one purpose, one hope. The Void Hunters enter weapons range. Reality begins to ripple as their erasure weapons charge. For every world they've destroyed, Beck continues, her voice carrying across. 72,000 ships. For every life they've stolen, for every dream they've ended. We make them pay. The first Void Hunter salvo lances out. Thousands of black beams that simply delete whatever they touch. But instead of hitting scattered, panicked ships, they strike coordinated defensive formations. Human shields absorb the reality-warping attacks, while shard energy fields disperse them. Behind the defensive line, Talon fighters swarm forward in perfect coordination with Hive bioships. Now, Beck orders. The combined fleet opens fire. What follows is not just a battle. It's a symphony of destruction orchestrated by species that once tried to destroy each other. Human plasma cannons provide the baseline, their massive beams tearing through Void Hunter hulls. Shard crystal weapons add the melody, their focused energy precisely targeting weak points. Talon fighters dance between the larger ships like deadly notes, while Hive bioweapons provide organic chaos that confuses enemy targeting systems. The Void Hunters, used to facing divided, fearful opponents, suddenly find themselves fighting. Something they've never encountered before, a truly united galaxy. Commander Hayes reports excitedly, "Ma'am, enemy formation is collapsing. They're breaking ranks." Beck watches the tactical display with satisfaction. The Void Hunter fleet, so overwhelming when facing scattered opposition, is crumbling against coordinated resistance. "Signal pursuit squadrons," she orders. "Don't let any escape. This ends today." The battle rages for another hour, but the outcome is never in doubt. When the last Void Hunter ship is destroyed, cheers echo across the combined fleet. Admiral Voss appears on the communication screen, her crystalline face glowing with joy. "Admiral Beck, it's over. They're all gone." "Not just gone," Beck replies with a smile. "Extinct. The Void Hunter threat ends here, today, forever." As the fleet begins recovery operations, Beck reflects on the journey that brought them to this moment. From the Silence Wars to the Void Hunter crisis, humanity and its galactic neighbors have learned a hard truth. They are stronger together than apart. The galaxy is safe, and for the first time in 80 years, it is truly united. In the depths, space, Admiral Beck's ships stand guard alongside their former enemies, now eternal allies. The age of isolation is over. The age of cooperation has begun.